Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Mrunal Shah Modi. Yesterday we were going to do one live session, and because of certain technical errors we could not. So I'm going to speak about acne and pigmentation today. So please let me know if you all can hear me and see me clearly. Hi Anil, good morning. I hope Anil you're fine and doing well. Anil, can you hear me and see me properly? Right. Okay. All right. So as I was just saying that the whole situation is really bad, and I'm going to start my lecture at around 11 o'clock. I'm going to wait for people to join in, some more people to join. Yesterday, unfortunately, we could not complete our lecture, as I said that there was a lot of technical errors which were happening. So I hope all of you all are safe and keeping social distancing around this tough COVID-19 times. And thank you Anil, thank you Ramesh Manda for joining in. Right. So today I'm going to talk about acne and pigmentation. So if you all are having any specific questions you all feel you all are facing while having acne and pigmentation, you all can start posting. And if there is anything specific also you all would want me to discuss in this lecture, I would be very glad to answer. Yes. Okay. There are a lot of skin changes which happen specifically in the summer. We feel that the acne has increased, the pigmentation is increasing, and the skin is becoming more manageable as it was a couple of months back. So I'm also going to discuss all that about certain issues which are more common in the summers and how to take care of the summers. I'm going to be busting certain myths also. I'm going to talk about sunscreens because a lot of people have a lot of confusion regarding which sunscreens to use. Hi Ramesh, Ananda, Ram, Simchalam, Ashwini, Sonu. Good morning guys. Thank you all for joining. I'm just waiting for another 5 minutes to start my lecture. We are just waiting for more participants to join in. So I was saying that if you all have any specific queries, please feel free to ask me till before we start our lecture at 11 o'clock. Hi Purushottam, good morning. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Hi Krishna. Yes. So are you all, any of yours following any kind of a skin routine, or you all are putting some kind of creams or gels on your faces? Anything anybody's following, or like nobody's having any time doing anything? Hi Amit, good morning. Yes. So we are just few more minutes till we start, because we are just waiting for a few people to join in. Hi Vijay, Christopher, good morning. Thank you for joining. Hi Pavan, good morning. Hi Anjali, good morning. Sakhyadeep Datta, good morning. Thank you for joining. Yeah. So I feel that I think I can start now. Good morning, Prasad. Right. So first of all, good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Mrunal Shah Modi. I'm a dermatologist, trichologist, and a cosmetic surgeon. I'm the owner and director of Shine Skin, Hair and Laser Clinics. One is in Churchgate and one is in Juhu, right? First of all, thank you all for taking out time and joining my lecture, because today I'm going to talk about acne and pigmentation. So let me break it up. First, I'm going to talk about acne. And as all of you all have certain questions, please you all can write in your chat box and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. So let me first talk about acne. So I'm sure all of us at some point or the other in our lives have faced acne problem, because acne is such a common problem that all of us have faced having acne at some point or the other. So what exactly is acne? So acne is basically, see, we have hair follicles on our face. So when the hair follicles get blocked, either because of oil or because of dust particles or whatever, that is when we start getting acne. These are these small kind of boils which we get. So acne we can get either on the face, we can get on our cheeks, forehead, chin, around the jawline, neck. A lot of people also get acne on their chest, shoulder and back. That is called truncal acne. So acne can be present on the face, as well as acne can be present on the back also, which is called truncal acne. Now what are the types of acne? Acne can be, see, there are different grades of acne. We classify acne as grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 and grade 5. So grade 1 acne is when we have these blackheads and whiteheads on our face, right? That is called grade 1 acne. Where there is no inflammation, we don't see pus boils. Grade 2 acne is where we see little pustules on the face or on the trunk. Grade 3 and grade 4, they progress as the acne start becoming big. Like you can start having nodular cystic acne. That is when the size of the acne starts becoming big, acne becomes very, very painful, it hurts, and these acne, when they heal, they start scarring. So this is called nodular cystic acne, when the acne starts becoming very, very big and it is painful, it starts hurting, it starts scarring. So when we know that what are the grades of acne and what are the types of acne, right? It can be whiteheads, blackheads, it can be pustular acne, can be truncal acne. There is something which is very common, which is called acne escori. Has anyone heard about acne escori? So what happens is that, some people have the habit of scratching or picking their acne. That's called picker's acne. So it could be because of anything. If you are stressed out or there is like a mild depression, some people just have a habit of breaking their acne. So these people, the acne is called acne escori. So this acne, when it starts healing, leaves this blackish or brownish marks on the face and on the trunk or on the shoulders. So this is called acne escori. So for people who are joining now, we discussed that what is acne. Acne is when the hair follicles get blocked because of oil or dust. That is when the acne starts popping up. Acne is usually seen on the face, chest and on the back, which is called truncal acne, and we discussed the grades of acne. We see that there are a lot of reasons why people get acne, that there are different causes of why people get acne. One thing is that most commonly is that the face is extremely oily. So this happens when the sebaceous glands are very active on the face. So because of that, there is extra oil production which happens on the face, and because of that, acne starts coming. Second reason that why people start getting acne, it could be environmental, it could be because of extreme stress, you are not sleeping properly. Praveen, you asked that what can I eat to cause acne. I will be discussing diet and acne. Thanks, Praveen. So like, a lot of people, they eat a lot of junk food, they eat oily food. Actually, it is known that a lot of dairy, milk and milk products are also causing acne. So if someone has a lot of acne problem, they should avoid eating a lot of dairy food. Then another reason for having acne is a severe hormonal imbalance. So if any girl is having irregular periods, or having a polycystic ovaries where the periods are not normal, there's a hormonal imbalance, testosterone levels are high, or maybe prolactin levels are high, they can also cause acne. Another reason why people are having acne is that using wrong kind of products, right? It could be using a wrong kind of a face wash, using a different kind of a scrub. It could be having, you're using a wrong kind of a sunscreen, or even cosmetics. Like everybody needs to put makeup nowadays, right? So, a lot of the times the makeups are very comedogenic. So, always if you have a acne prone skin, you should use makeup which is non-comedogenic, and always wash your face before you go to sleep when you're using acne. So, I see a lot of questions coming up. Let me just answer a few questions before we move ahead. So, Shilpa says, does thyroid cause acne? Yes, sometimes thyroid does cause acne. So please keep your thyroid under control. Also, it's a good habit if you can also work out and remove the oil from your face. Shilpa also asked, what about the acne on the back? As I said that acne on the back, it can cause because if you're having a lot of dandruff on your scalp, that is also a reason. And acne can happen on the back, which is called truncal acne. So I'm going to be talking about the causes of truncal acne and treatment of truncal acne soon. But if you're having dandruff, just make sure that the dandruff is treated, right? Praveen Kumar asked that can what I eat cause acne and breakouts? Yes. If you're eating a lot of dairy products, lot of junk food, oily food, it does not directly cause acne, but it can aggravate if you already have an acne problem. So if you're eating junk, if you're eating kind of a lot of oily food, chocolates and all sort of junk food, your acne is going to increase. Okay, so guys, I'm going to move ahead. Okay. Praveen, you asked what type of cleansers would you recommend? I'm going to come to cleansers in a bit. So after you know that what causes acne, as I said that truncal acne on the back, shoulders can cause because of dandruff also, and we know that what causes acne. Sometimes when you go to your skin doctor may recommend certain investigations when you see like a lot of acne coming. And sometimes, if you want to recommend any kind of say vitamin A derivatives, so we do a basic of a liver function test and a lipid profile, because certain medicines also they cause a rise in these levels. So a doctor may ask you to do a liver function test and a lipid profile. Also, the cause of acne, the doctor may want to rule out certain hormonal imbalances. So certain hormonal tests may be advised. Usually the hormonal tests in women are given on the second day of your periods, that is between 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes even ultrasonography of the abdomen and pelvis is recommended, because we want to rule out something which is called polycystic ovaries, that is called PCOD. Because PCOD nowadays, it is a very common cause of acne. So we want to rule out PCOD. If somebody is having a hormonal problem, it is better to rule that out. So certain investigations are done mainly not to confirm acne, because acne is mostly, it is confirmed clinically only. It is just to find out the cause. Sometimes investigations are done. Let me talk about certain do's and don'ts in acne, because all of us know that we have acne. First thing I would say in do's and don'ts, please do not break your acne, right? Because whenever you're breaking your acne or you're pricking your acne, it causes something which is called acne excori, right? So these marks, these marks come on their face. So do not prick your acne, do not break your acne. This is called acne excori. Another do's and don'ts, people feel that scrubbing their face is better, or washing too often. So do not do that. Certain people feel that doing home remedies is also very good for acne. In terms of home remedies, let me tell you one thing is that it's not necessary that if your friend is doing something, it is going to suit you also. It is always each to its own. So if something is suiting your skin, try doing a test patch. If it is not suiting you, please discontinue. So I have a lot of patients putting chane ka atta, malai, haldi, besan, all different kinds of stuffs on their face, and sometimes I've seen that the acne increases. So please do not do it just because it is suiting somebody else. It does not mean that it is going to suit you. Try a little test patch. If you feel that the acne is increasing, please stop using it, right? Now, there are various treatments when it comes to acne, that when we know that what are the causes of acne, when you go to a dermatologist, I really feel that if someone is really suffering from acne, please go to a qualified dermatologist. Please avoid taking over-the-counter medicines. I see a lot of patients applying a lot of steroidal creams because maybe somebody else has applied it, they've got it over the counter. Applying steroids on the face can itself cause acne to come, right? This is called steroidal acne. So do not use any over-the-counter medicines for the treatment of acne. Please go to a qualified doctor. So once the doctor has seen you, confirmed the diagnosis, certain investigations are given, then the first thing what the doctor does is that tries treating you with only tablets and creams. It is not necessary that every time you need to move on to treatments only. So if you have very, very simple acne, like if it is a grade 1 acne, that only a retinol cream or a benzoyl peroxide cream or a tretinoin cream is enough. Usually retinol creams are supposed to be applied only at night. Please follow the instruction of the doctor. If you have forgotten to use it at night, please do not use a retinol cream in the day, because what happens, it reacts with the sunlight. So follow the instructions. Lot of the time the creams are supposed to be applied only at night. Also, before using any cream for the acne, please inform your doctor if you are pregnant or if you are planning pregnancy, because if you are using any tretinoin cream or adapalene gel, this may interfere with your pregnancy to an extent that the lady may have to abort. So vitamin A derivatives, certain retinol creams, adapalene cannot be given. So please inform your doctor if you are planning pregnancy or if you are pregnant. So these are certain creams which the doctors may give you, maybe a clindamycin cream, benzoyl peroxide, retinol creams, adapalene gels. So these are certain creams. If the doctor feels that your acne is a lot and is not going to go away only with creams, there are certain tablets also available, like doxycycline, minocycline, isotretinoin. Please do not use these tablets on your own. It has to be recommended by your doctor, because there are a lot of contraindications. Contraindications mean there are a lot of people who cannot be using these tablets. Okay, so these tablets have to be given only by a qualified doctor. So tablets and creams are given to the patients. Usually after 15 days, the doctor and the patients knows that the tablets and the creams have a limited effect on the skin. Then a treatment depending on the skin type is advised. So supposing if the tablet and cream is really not working, the acne is really resistant, lot of people have a lot of marks and scars on their face which may not go with tablets and creams, certain treatments are recommended. I'll just name certain treatments and give you a little gist of what these treatments are, because what happens that a lot of people have this little scare or hesitant hesitation while using these treatments. They feel that no, we don't want to do any treatments. Please give us something natural only. A lot of people are very hesitant using tablets. Okay, no, we don't want to use tablets. So everything is safe. So please understand with your doctor that what it is properly. So first most common thing which your doctor may prescribe to you is chemical peeling. So one thing about chemical peeling is that it is not actually a chemical or an acid which is applied to your face. Please understand that it is actually a fruit acid. So it is actually made from fruit. Like for example, if it is a glycolic peel, glycolic peels are actually made from sugarcane. So it is actually a fruit acid treatment which is done on their face. So do not feel that you're applying any acid to your face or it is any chemicals. And there are different kinds of peels which are available. It could be glycolic peels, salicylic peels, lactic peel, mandelic peel. So there are different varieties of peels, and depending on your face or depending on your condition which you have or the grade of acne, the percentage of the peel and the duration and the number of sittings is decided by the doctor. Usually how these peels are done is that after washing your face, these peels are applied maybe for 2 or 3 minutes on the face and then it is wiped off. And then maybe the doctor may want to extract the comedones from the face, or if there is a lot of pigmentation also, like there are a lot of marks on their face. So along after the acne settle down a little bit, the second treatment which is advised, maybe it's a microderm abrasion. Now what is microderm abrasion? It is basically most commonly called as skin polishing. It is done either with a diamond head or it is done with aluminum oxide crystals. So what this peel and microderm abrasion does is that it removes the superficial layer of the skin. Okay, so that is so usually all of us with the normal skin cell regeneration, we get new skin after maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks. But when the pigmentation is deep, this pigmentation may not go away on its own. So peels and microderm abrasions actually help removing the pigmentation from the skin. This treatment is really safe. There is no problem. You can safely use these treatments. Next treatment which is available, you can start doing, there are a lot of lasers also available. Lasers and phototherapy basically. So lasers, what they do, lasers are used either for pigmentation and lasers are also used to control the acne, right? So these are certain treatments commonly done. See, there are a lot of advanced treatments also which are done, but the most common treatments which are done for acne is chemical peeling, microderm abrasions, lasers, right? Now, when it comes to scarring, right, lot of people get scarring. What is scarring? They're commonly in normal language, you call them like khadda on their face. This happens when the acne heals and it starts leaving a dent on their face. There are different degrees of scarring, right? It could be mild scarring, it could be medium, it could be very severe scarring on their face. So scarring is something which is permanent. It is not going to go away with any tablets or any creams. Treatment is required for scarring. Certain treatments which are required for acne scars is, if you can say that, these micro needling basically. It is called a derma roller treatment. Now, why do we need certain treatments is that whenever the acne heals, right, there are fibrous bands. It means that there's something which is pulling your skin down and you have to break these fibrous bands. So first treatment which I was talking about is it called a derma roller treatment. So in a derma roller treatment, it is anesthetic cream which is applied on their face and it is something which is like a pen with multiple needles and it is rolled on the surface of the skin. Yes, it does have a downtime, maybe 3 to 4 days your skin may look as if someone has scratched you. If you want, you can go to work after the derma roller, but you please make sure that you have a good sunscreen on, or if you're covering the face, because a full new layer of the skin is going to come. So for derma rollers, maybe 3 to 4 sittings may be required. In one sitting, nothing is going to happen. And you all should note that whatever treatment you all do for scarring, if you're doing a derma roller, if you all are doing lasers, Fraxels, anything, the scars are never going to be knocked out 100%. You will always get somewhere around a 70 to 80% improvement. But if you're expecting that 100% the scars will go away, that is not going to happen. So first thing we talked about in the treatment of scarring is a derma roller. Okay, it can also be done with a derma pen if you don't want to use a roller. Second thing, a lot of doctors are using lasers. So lasers, may you have the CO2 laser, the Fraxel laser, pixel laser. Lot of lasers are also available. Sometimes PRP treatments are also used for the treatment of acne scars, or it is also used for certain pigmentation, but it is not as effective as the derma roller or the laser treatments. Some people also have an emergency, like they feel that we do not have time for 5 to 6 treatments. So the doctor may put in a hyaluronic acid filler. So filler, the results, what happens with fillers is that the effect is temporary. Maybe after a laser, maybe after the year using the fillers, the scars are going to come back. So fillers, if you are using for scars, it is very temporary. It's not a permanent solution. So if you want a permanent solution, you can go in either for a derma roller or you can use lasers for acne. So along with the acne treatment questions, if anybody has any questions regarding acne, please you all can start sending me on the chat. And now I'm going to talk a little about pigmentation. And after I talk about pigmentation, I'm going to talk a little about sunscreen, because this is something very confusing. People do not understand what kind of sunscreens to use, what kind of face wash to use, what kind of makeup to use, what products to use on their face. So I'm going to talk about a little. Till then, if anybody has any questions, acne, please tell me. Right. So I'm going to talk about a little brief about pigmentation. What is pigmentation? Okay. There are different kinds of pigmentations which are there, right? Pigmentations can be 3 types. Either it could be hyperpigmentation, where your skin becomes darker than what it was. It is a little darker than what your present skin color is. That is called hyperpigmentation. Second variety of pigmentation is hypopigmentation, where the skin becomes lighter than what the existing skin color is. Third kind of pigmentation is called depigmentation, where the color, the melanin is completely lost, where the skin looks white, right? So there are 3 types of pigmentation. So I have a question by Mitesh Patil, wanted to know about hair dandruff. Thanks Mitesh for your question. For your dandruff, you can use any ketoconazole shampoo. There are different brands available. You can use scalp shampoo, you can use Arcolane shampoo. Any shampoo which has ketoconazole, you can use that, right? So coming back to pigmentation. So what is hypopigmentation? Now hypopigmentation, as I said, is where the skin becomes a little lighter than what it was. So different causes of hypopigmentation is most commonly, which we see in our city, is PMLE, right? Because if you are a lot in the sun, so your skin starts becoming lighter, or a mild eczema on their face. So a lot of people feel that, oh, this is calcium deficiency which I'm getting on my face. So P. alba or a little eczema which you have, that can cause the skin to become little light. Also a lot of sun exposure, if you're in the sun for a long time. So these PMLE spots, they cause the skin to become a little lighter. When the skin starts becoming lighter, people start panicking that if it is vitiligo. No, this is not vitiligo, this is not leukoderma. Vitiligo and leukoderma, where we see where there is depigmentation, where the skin is completely white, it does not get lighter. To differentiate, your doctor can tell you the difference, so please do not self-diagnose yourself. So there is an instrument which the doctor uses called a Wood's lamp if you are suffering from pre-vitiligo, but that is something which your doctor will decide, right? So in coming to pigmentation is like hypopigmentation and hyperpigmentation. Hyperpigmentation is something where the color becomes more darker than what your skin usually is. So that is very common after pregnancy or in delivery, where you see this pigmentation coming around the cheeks, nose, on the malar area. That is called melasma. It also happens to people who are a lot in the sun. Hyperpigmentation also happen in people who are scratching their acne or they are breaking their pimples. It is called hyperpigmentation. So Swati tells me that please tell me hyperpigmentation solution. Yes, Swati, I'll be talking about the solution. So first, when we know that what kind of pigmentation we are having, if it is hyperpigmentation, right? So then what are the causes? Okay, so there are few common causes of pigmentation, like why people start getting pigmentation. The most common reason is someone who is not applying sunscreen. Okay, you can get hypo as well as hyperpigmentation when if you're not applying sunscreen. So there is a lot of confusion regarding the sunscreen. So I'll just take a minute talking about sunscreens now. Firstly, there's a lot of confusion regarding SPF. Lot of people talk about SPF, but they do not know what is SPF actually. SPF is actually sun protecting factor. Okay, so sunscreen is something which you must apply every single day. There is a myth where people feel that, oh, we do not go out in the sun, so why should we apply a sunscreen? That is not true. You have to protect your skin with UVA as well as UVB radiations. Okay, so even if you're inside your house, if you're inside your kitchen, you're at your desk job, you must apply a sunscreen. Because when we talk about sunscreen, we are not only talking about the sun rays, we're actually talking about the UV radiations which is present in our tube lights, which is present in our mobile screen, which is present in our laptop screens. So using a sunscreen is a must. Also, a lot of people feel that higher the SPF we apply is going to be better for the skin. It is nothing like that. Okay, any SPF which you are applying around 26 to 30, that is also enough if you are not really out in the sun. So SPF comes when you are really out in the sun, or if you are into sports, you're swimming or something. But if you are a normal regular person working from office, any SPF around 26 to 30 is usually enough. Also, a lot of people feel that the more that is better. That is also not true. Okay, price and the usually no correlation. Best thing, the sunscreen, you can use a little talcum powder after applying the sunscreen, so that will start making the skin a little matte. Treatment of pigmentation. There are various treatments which are available for pigmentation. First thing is that you all can start eating an antioxidant tablet. Vitamin C tablets are also available. There are a lot of treatments which are available. It can be either chemical peels, which are very commonly done. There are these 12-hour peels which are called the reticosity, or the yellow peels which are available. Glycolic peels, lactic peel, mandelic peels are also available for treating pigmentation. If you have hypopigmentation, you have to find out the reason why the skin has become light. Usually an anti-inflammatory cream is prescribed by the doctor with the sunscreen. So for hypopigmentation, please do not self-treat. Also for pigmentation, people should not apply over-the-counter steroidal creams endlessly, or a hydroquinone cream, because that in turn can make your skin more darker later. So do not use a cream which has a steroid or over-the-counter medicines without asking your doctor. Other treatments which are used in pigmentation is again microderm abrasions, laser treatments, Q-Stitch Vendiag. There are different treatments which are available for pigmentation also. For vitiligo, which is depigmentation, a lot of people are getting very scared. They feel that, oh my god, the skin is going to become in an era where there is a lot of treatment there are a lot of tablets, creams, lasers which are available for vitiligo. So usually the skin does not become completely white. So I'm going to start taking some of posted. So Purushottam says that please suggest any homemade remedies for face wash on daily basis. As I suggested there are a lot of homemade remedies, but in terms of homemade remedies, it is not necessary that whatever is suggested, it may suit you. So homemade remedies is very each to its own, right? There are a lot of packs which people make at home. There are a lot of people apply chane ka atta, besan, they apply malai on their face, but it is not necessary everything suits everyone, because it can also cause acne. So if you feel that the homemade remedies are not suiting you, you must stop. In terms of the face wash, I suggest that please use a gentle cleanser. use any sulfate free cleansers which are available. Do not use very harsh face washes. Also, I suggest that people must not use keep changing their products, right? If you're using a certain product, please stick to a product. Do not keep changing your products. Also, I had dark circles and dark patches. So, thank you, Swati, for your question regarding dark patches. So when you talk about dark patches, we first need to find out what exactly these dark patches are, why these dark patches are coming. After we know that what dark patches are there, certain creams are advised to be put at night or in the day along with the sunscreen. So this is something about the dark patches. I must say, at least start putting a sunscreen, and the doctor should know that what is the cause of the dark patches you're getting. A lot of questions regarding dark circles. Now, dark circles is something so there are a lot of reasons why people get dark circles, right? First of all, if you are not sleeping properly, that is the most common cause of dark circles. Another cause is that if you're having glasses and you're not wearing your glasses often, if you have a number, you're straining your eye muscles basically. Or if you're in front of the TV, computer, laptops, or if you're using a phone a lot and not using anti-reflection glasses, that is also a reason why people get dark circles. Dark circles sometimes are also hereditary. Sometimes people have a loss of fat below the eye. Okay, so if you're having something like that, a filler may help. After we correct these causes of dark circles, there are a lot of creams which are available. So a lot of under eye creams, you all can start using the under eye creams. Please use anti-reflection. Anti-reflection glasses are used if you're in front of the computer, TV screens or laptops. There are certain to treat dark circles. If these there are a lot of under eye treatments, right? So under eye treatments basically include you can do under eye peels which are available. You can do under eye fillers if you feel that there is like a little dent below the eyes. So these are certain which are done to treat dark circles and if there is any pigmentation around the eyes. Also, I must suggest that please use a sunscreen also around your eyes. Okay, please do not skip the eye area because people usually put the sunscreen on their forehead or on their cheeks, but sunscreen must be applied even around the eyes. Okay, I have questions about makeup, that which kind of makeup should be used. So if you're having a oily skin and you're very prone of getting acne, please use, first of all, you must always invest in a good brand of makeup. Do not use any random brands because that will again start spoiling your skin. Whenever you go to buy makeup, I always tell my patients that buy a small tester pack. Okay, do not go buying the big pack and then you all feel that I have spent so much of money and the makeup is not suiting me. When I usually talk about the makeup, it's usually the foundation and the compact which women use. Please ask the lady on the counter that please give me something which is, when we use a non-comedogenic makeup, so that is something which is not going to block your. So please use a non-comedogenic makeup. Is that use a good cleanser to remove the makeup. When I point that you all are washing the makeup off, never sleep with the makeup. Okay, so remove the makeup. All who have acne, they must clean their brushes every single day. Never use anybody else's makeup. Do not share makeup. If some girls have an habit of sharing their makeup, they are using the same makeup which their friends are using. Do not share makeup brushes. Do not share the makeup. Use a non-comedogenic makeup. There are these light mineral based makeups also which are nice, which are very light and which has a little air on it. So using a right kind of makeup is also very important, and make sure that you are washing and cleaning your face and do not sleep with makeup on. And also I know a lot of people using makeup when they go for a workout or when they are doing exercises. That is also a strict no, that please do not do that because that can also cause acne. So yes, I'm going to start taking a few questions now. Swati, hope I've answered your question regarding dark patches, right? Okay, so people are asking about what face washes and what sunscreens to use. Sunscreen, as I said, use a gel base, and use a gel based sunscreen if you have a oily skin. Someone is asking that what do we do about truncal acne? So for truncal acne, make sure that your scalp is cleaned of dandruff. Use a ketoconazole shampoo at night. Make sure your scalp is clean. There are a lot of creams which are available to treat the truncal acne, which could be either a retinol cream or a benzoyl peroxide cream. So there are various creams which are available. Your doctor will probably be able to guide you. And if any of you all have certain questions, you all can obviously get in touch with me also. You all can write to me on shah_mrunal@yahoo.com, or you all have my number 98205-47525. You all can also message me. I'll be glad to help. So I'll be ending my session now because we are running late on time. I really hope that all of you all have found my lecture a little informative. This was something in short about acne and pigmentation, and I really hope all of you all have found this informative. Also, please, knowing the current situation, please be safe. Please maintain social distancing. I know that it is getting very boring at home, but please be safe. And if you all have any questions, I will be more than happy. My name is Dr. Mrunal Shah Modi, and thank you very, very much for taking out your time and attending my lecture. Thank you and be safe.